Hi, this is Wishop, and this is going to be a card reading for the upcoming Leo new moon because it's the last day of the month, August 30th. We're actually having a second new moon in August at the very end of Leo. So, this is a fantastic new moon for concrete new starts, and I will explain why briefly. The moon is going to be in the last degrees of Leo, which means by end of August 30th, September 1st, it's going to also be in Virgo. And that will mean that there will be all five personal planets in Virgo. We call the sun and moon personal planets because they affect you personally, even though they are luminary bodies technically. But the sun is in Virgo. The moon then will be in Virgo starting September 1st. Mars is already in Virgo, Venus is in Virgo, and Mercury is going to be in Virgo. So that is a powerhouse lineup in the sign of service. And I'm describing the tropical zodiac now, not the sidereal. So in the tropical zodiac, Virgo typically rules the sixth house, which is the house of daily work. It's the house of nutrition. It's also a house that is known for being very fruitful because it's a harvest house. It's in the harvest time of year. It's ruled by the grain goddess, the maidens. And I'm saying maidens, but truly, when we talk about the grain goddesses, a lot of times we're talking about the earth mother goddesses, those rich and abundant goddess forms that represent the fruitfulness of the earth, coming into harvest and giving us enough bounty to last through the winter. So this is the kind of Virgo feeling, and with five planets, or what will be five personal planets, we could say, in Virgo, we also have Saturn and Pluto hanging out in Capricorn, which is another earth sign, a sign of status, prestige, success, ambition, drive. And then we have Uranus, which has now recently shifted to Taurus, which is another earth sign, which rules your local environment, your body, your senses, your sense of beauty and luxury, all sorts of different sensory pleasures and involvements. So this is a powerhouse in the earth signs, and it's a new moon, which means it's a great time for new beginnings. So if you're looking at new beginnings in jobs, new beginnings in your personal self-expression, in your health, in your daily routine, just in all sorts of material aspects of life, this is going to be great. And I feel like based on the things that I'm looking at, you can really look through the end of September for these auspices to be really nice. So, make your new moon intentions, or if you're already in the middle of a great transition, just look to this sort of confluence in the skies to juice up support for that. So the energies are subtle, but they can give you a boost if you're aware of them and you're looking to kind of harness them, So think about it like you go out onto a patio or you go into a restaurant and you try to pick the seat where the sun is not going to be blinding you, where you're not under the air conditioning vent, where you can see the door if you're planning on meeting somebody. So you're going to be sitting at a table somewhere, but you have a choice to pick which one you're going to be at, or to affect where you're going to be so that you can optimize the opportunities, if that makes sense. So anyway, I thought I would do a good old-fashioned card reading. I have got the Reflections Tarot by Lo Scarabeo. This is the Black Cat Lenormand by Alexander Musruk. This is a brand new oracle deck, which I may do a walkthrough of. I probably will coming up. It's an 80 card oracle deck by Doug Thornsjoe, and it's his newest one. It's called the Arthur Rackham Oracle, and it uses Arthur Rackham illustrations from an old version of Grimm's fairy tales, also Midsummer Night's Dream and Peer Gynt, as the imagery, which then is linked to little words and phrases. But it's a cool, beautiful, kind of deep deck, so I thought we'd use this too. So let's start with, we'll do one oracle card up there. We'll do 2 Lenormand cards there. Maybe we'll do it this way. We'll see how that goes. And 3 tarot cards. Just because I sort of like tarot cards in 3s, and I like Lenormand in at least 2, and oracle cards you can use in singles. So we'll just see what we end up with. So let's start with the tarot cards. The Chariot, I love it. Card of victory. It's also a card of the moon, and we're dealing with a moon phase here. Okay, King of Wands in reverse. And King of Chalices in reverse. Okay, this is interesting to me because in a way you can think of, and I'll hold these up so you can really see them. These are the Reflections Tarot. All of the images have reflections or doppelgangers or after images associated with them. So here's the King of Chalices, where you would say he's very compassionate, he can be a family man, can be a person ruled by their emotions. In the sense that this describes us, this is ruling with your heart, right? And this is the King of Wands in reverse. So you can see here's the staff, there's a clenched fist, he's wearing part of a fur like a royal ermine, and has a sort of a warrior-like aspect. The King of Wands can be full of passion, ambition, and creativity, but at his worst can be a little domineering. At the King of Cups' worst, he can be dissolute, or he can give in to vice. He can be weak-willed, you know, this kind of idea. The King of Wands is anything but weak-willed. However, he can fail to listen to other people. He can fail to take other people's concerns into consideration. And then we have this Chariot, which actually when I started, I wondered if I would regret, because I sort of started this one. This one would have been in the middle, but anyway, it doesn't matter because the idea is the same. The Chariot is a card of victory through taming yourself, through mastering a variety of impulses. And so here it looks like neither one of these things should be in charge. You're really being asked to bring both these impulses together. You want to be in charge, ambitious, and have drive. You also want to be compassionate and empathetic, but neither one of these at this particular time can rule if you want to win. If you want to win, you have to get both of these impulses, both of these sets of good qualities working for you. So neither one of these can be boss. You know, your heart cannot rule your head. Your compassion cannot outweigh your ambition and your enthusiasm and your drive forward. If we think of the wands as kind of leaning forward and cups having to do with the water suit dealing with the past, you know, the past can't overwhelm the future and vice versa. This is really asking for you to center yourself and be in the now. This character, we don't even have the traditional horses on this deck. This character we just see sitting in absolute peacefulness and command. And here's the symbol that you probably recognize from the Rider-Waite card. It's basically the Faravahar, but the winged globe. And here's the Yoni and Lingam on the shield. This is a sign of all things being brought together in balance. And this allows this charioteer to leave the safety of the walls of the castle and to head out into the world. So I feel like with all the earthly energy going on right now, it's interesting that neither one of these is an earthly card. This is a card of the moon, of like following your instincts sometimes, or moving in with the big sort of cosmic cycles to take you where you want to go. And this is saying, don't fight. Don't fight what's going on now by trying to rule with any of these things, because if things are moving along, and I know some people have had some difficult transitions lately because everything seems to happen at once. You know what I mean? There have been transitions out of life for people and pets, and in the majority of the situations I know, it was not necessarily unexpected. So we don't, the people I know are not dealing with the tragic feeling of a loss that came too soon, but it is still a loss. And in the middle of that, there are other new things happening. So it's a complex situation to try to balance, to try to move forward with the new opportunities while you are dealing with a real change to your life. So let's see what we've got here. The mice and the ship. Okay. In a sense, these cards are sort of at odds, because the mice can be things which are diminished, things that are being sort of nibbled away in small degrees, right? So things that are getting gradually degraded. So we can think of things like thievery or loss or something which is slipping. And often this is a source of anxiety. So the mice can mean that people are worried about things. They're concerned. They have some overarching issues. And then we have the ship, which is a job card, which makes sense with this. But it's a card of movement. It's a card of travel. It's a card of commerce. And it's generally a great, it's a great blessing kind of card. So it's almost like you can be stuck in the weeds worrying about these small things or these losses, but the big old ship is like storming on through. It's kind of like get on board. And it is kind of funny because you can also think of the idea of rats leaving a sinking ship. I mean, I would think of that more if this were in this position, but you can think of the idea of rats leaving a sinking ship. And, but to me, the idea is these things, you can keep your mind on the small things, or you can look at the big picture. And right now there is a great deal of big picture opportunity. So let's see what we get in the Oracle card. Okay, this is Madrugada, which is the doorway to dream time. So this is the darkness before dawn card, but it's also the coming light of dawn card. So this doesn't mean that you're stuck in the darkness. Right here is basically the point at which the dawn starts to come. And usually you have your most memorable dreams right before you awaken. So this is the idea of doorway to dream time, that we're coming into a morning and we're hitting this time of dreaming. And I feel like that's very tied in with all of this earth energy of manifestation, which is saying you're going to hit this energy of in this new moon where you're really capable of dreaming things into reality. So don't dream small, and don't be overcome by worries about the past or the future. Try to remain as centered as you can and think about what real change would feel like victory to you. There are some images of this card where instead of looking still and poised, as he does here, the character, the charioteer, looks joyous, like laughing to be going so fast, like a kid on a bicycle or on a horse. So there's this idea that through this moment, we are entering into an ability to dream new dreams. And those new dreams can come into being because there's a lot of earth energy to help manifest them. So make sure that you're dreaming big enough. Make sure that you're not caught up in just solving small problems if what you really have are bigger ones. Don't be afraid to dream of like a serious victory for yourself, and to make use of this time in terms of the intentions that you're setting, however you like to do that. Maybe you do it with prayer, maybe you do it with writing down new moon intentions, maybe you like to vision board some things, or you will write up a little ritual, or there's a poem, or maybe there's a song that you like singing in the car or to yourself in the shower that expresses the kind of feeling that you want to have, that feeling of victory and having whatever worries you now swept out of the way by the movement of new events. That's the kind of feeling that you're going for. So don't get caught in the weeds. Realize that other people are probably going through these changes too. I know a lot of other people are going through these changes. So you're probably not going to be able to command them into shape, or necessarily even get them on board right away because they're running their own race. But you can run yours, and it looks like right now you can kind of call your shots. And you should do that, and don't be afraid. Like, this isn't really tinker around the edges of things energy. This is big, fat, glorious, golden gooses laying golden eggs kind of energy. So anyway, I hope that you have a great new moon. I hope things are going really well for you. Thank you very much for your likes, your comments, and for your subscriptions. And also thanks to all of you who've actually been around with this channel for a while. I really do appreciate you. Yeah, I think that's it for now. And until next time, rock on with your bad selves.